Hello, welcome to my channel, glad to see you here and please enjoy my new video. Today I'll be talking about the art supplies I'll be carrying with me this summer, and in the second half of this video I'll do a little bit of travel journaling and try to talk you through what I'm doing. So let's get started. First of all, I don't really keep any journals except for my travel journals. However, I don't have them in a separate designated journal, but rather in the sketchbook that I work in during the time. I like that I can then look back at it and see my travels as well as my paintings there. And now let's get to the art supplies I'll be carrying with me this summer on my adventures and trips. Firstly, I would like to talk about the ways I travel. My summer usually, and this year seems to be no exception so far, I work during the weekdays and then go on different adventures during the weekends. I also really like hiking and backpacking, but while doing that you kinda need to count every gram you're carrying, so I would opt out of many of the supplies I will be showing you and just carry the essentials. I usually carry this stuff around in my backpack, and I do a lot of bus travel and train travel around Europe, so this is what I would carry with me and use whenever I can. The most important thing, the sketchbooks. My absolute favorite are the Duffy Bookbinders sketchbook. However, I feel kind of bad recommending them because I think you can only get them in Ireland, and I bought them kind of on accident while I was spending my semester there, and now I order them from Easons because they deliver all around Europe. They have paper that's excellent for mixed media, and I absolutely love that they are cloth bound as I don't destroy them while carrying them around, and they're handmade and not that expensive. Good alternative that I would use is the Talens mixed media sketchbooks. I use these a lot, however I'm not a fan of the format since they're a bit more vertical than the standard formats like A5, so then when I scan my art it's not easy to transfer them into postcards or zines. So I prefer these more for sketchbooking and experimenting and not journaling really, because I like to turn my paintings into zines. For my paints, this is the palette I use. It's Winsor and Newton brand, but I don't know the name because I had it for like 10 years now. It came with the pens inside, but I used them up and filled them with gouache. You can learn all about that process in my previous video. And I love that it has these two palettes. One can never have too much palette space in my opinion. And whenever I hike and I don't have the space to carry this whole thing, I have another option here. This is my travel palette, and it is a chocolate tin I got in Barcelona and ate the chocolate, filled them with gouache pens, and I use this little lid as my palette. Here are the brushes I use. The brand is called Richard Oliver, and I once again found them when I studied in Ireland, but I've had them for years and they still hold up so well. So I think these are the best brushes I ever used, because before that I would go through like many brushes a month. And the way I carry them around while traveling is a bit funny. I'll show you now. To prevent the tips from bending, I would usually take this piece of heavier paper and tape, wrap it around, secure it. It's a bit messy and it looks funny. However, I tried so many different cases, the roll-up cases and stuff, but none of them is so light and discreet, like they're usually quite chunky, and I really need to save as much space as I can, so here we go. Then, important for journaling is my pen. This is the TWSBY Eco, I think, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And first of all, I love that it's transparent here, so you can see what ink is inside, what color, because I have more pens. Second of all, you can easily fill it up with whatever ink you like, and this year, and this is a new thing for me, I will be filling it up with this like water-resistant ink, so I can write over my paintings or painted backgrounds, or I can color in the ink drawings. And then, when I have some space left, I like to carry at least a few colored pencils or some Neocolors. I have them in this Muji case now. And for water, I like to carry some small vessel, use whatever is around. When I need it to be lightweight, I like to use this slush cover for their soaps, or I save these matcha tin cans that I will probably be using this summer. I think they would be perfect for my water. And now let's journal together. We went on a trip to Jeseníky Mountains in northern Czechia near the Polish border with my boyfriend's family a few months ago now, but I was saving painting this journal page for this video. I usually like to work this way, where I take a lot of photos and notes on the trips, but then work on the journals in the evenings or at home after the trip. When the occasion allows, I love to paint on the spot, but since I usually travel with people, that's not super viable option. When it comes to the layouts, I think I take a lot of inspirations from book design, which I studied at university, and kind of think about my journals in the same way that I would work in design maybe, or like there are columns, different levels of headings, picture descriptions. I think my thoughts about layouts would make up for a whole video or maybe a course even, and I would love to do it in the future. I think I might try to write everything down and maybe work on like a series of videos for this channel. But I really like to kind of build up of what I know, but do my layouts very organically. I think it always looks the best. But now I'm going to try to take you and describe my process in maybe a less structured way. I always like to start with the heading, some lettering, name of the page. I think that's a good anchor point. Then usually, but not always, I do like to make a central painting bigger than the others. Here I will be working on this meadow, and I think it's good to have a focal point of the page. It always looks good. However, you have to think about the way you want to tell the story. Sometimes it might be more useful for you not to use a focal point on purpose. Like for example, these two examples here. First, this is a page I did about things I enjoyed this spring, so it's more of a list. None of these paintings should really stand out, be more important than others. That's why I made them all the same size. Next, this is a page from my zine about my trip to Sweden. You can find it in my shop. And it's about things I saw from the window on an overnight train ride across the Polar Circle. So once again, it's more of a list, so none of these paintings should take the main focus. then usually after I do the heading, then maybe the like object or one painting that I decide to the page to be focused on, I just like to add many things around it. Maybe some collages, or the things I always like to include are food we ate, like, or what we drank, maybe some other nice landscape, remarkable moments. And I don't usually paint these, so I often just write them down if like there's just like a story or moment I want to remember. Plants are a good thing. Like here I'll be using these little marsh marigolds, and I also think another good tip is to repeat the stuff around the page. I think it like binds it visually together. So that's why I kind of decided not to only paint one of these flowers, but add a little bit more of them. And then it's like, this is the thing I often forget, but it's very useful to include the date and possibly the hiking route we went on, so you can look at them later. Sometimes people even ask me about the routes, so it's nice to have them here, but as I said, I very often forget to do this when I'm painting and writing. I always like to first work in watercolor, let it dry, then maybe add on my letterings with pen, and then the last step is to like chisel it with colored pencils. this is it. This is the page. And as I said, I would love to make maybe even like more in-depth video about letterings or about layout. Like, it's all on my list, and I cannot wait to have now the whole summer to maybe dig in a little bit into my YouTube channel and maybe prepare more videos here for you. And I hope you will enjoy all your travels and maybe share the journals you did with me. I always love to see what you create on Instagram, and I really appreciate all the people who keep sending your like gouache paintings and stuff to me. It's incredible to see them, and I hope you keep creating and keep having fun.